I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it was the first fashion show for Kith in like 6 years.
I mean, you got Joe LaPuma in the front row. You got Tiafoe. You got Michael Strahan. Malik Neighbors is actually in the show with Jordan Clarkson and Victor Cruz, who Victor Cruz is like the nicest guy on the planet. Because I noticed that Heidi Klum posted, Gashi and Jimmy performing, right? And I was like, I did not see Heidi Klum at all. So, I think I didn't know this till after, but they were like this close to canceling it because it was pouring.
Fashion isn't easy, man. I know everybody thinks they can do it, but just seeing the production from what you told me, it just sounds like, an insane amount of work. People probably think they put that together in a day or two, but that's like, months of planning, of working. And
you got Carmelo Anthony on a Sunday evening in SoHo, front row and center. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger. I mean, who's a bigger Nick? Patrick Ewing?
Then he does Song Cry. And as soon as he does Song Cry, it's like the clouds just is wild, bro. You know what I mean? Jay-Z's like a god. As soon as he does Song Cry, the clouds come and it just starts raining, bro.
What that tells you is Jay-Z controls everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a doorman.
The doorman can turn the weather
to us, right?
I mean, shit, if anyone can, it might as well be him. Yo, welcome back to the Can't Teach Taste podcast featuring your boys Mac Annam and Todd Tomlinson. Yo, we got some good stuff to get into today, fresh off the Kith show. Got a lot of fashion stuff to talk about, man. What did you think about? I mean, you've seen some of the stuff online. Obviously, I was there, had a pretty intimate view. What does it look like, from the outside when you're seeing posts? You're seeing all these outlets, Complex, et cetera, post the show. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, I wish I was there. Should have caught that flight to New York. Had FOMO, but everything looked crazy, man. Like I always wanted to go to like a fashion show. Yeah, I see all the athletes or the rappers at whether it's the Off-White, the Louis Vuitton shows and stuff. And just like you, like I've been a fan of Kith for a long time. So when I heard that you're gonna go out there, I was excited for you to be there. But the show looked crazy. The fall collection looks wild. Looks like Ronnie did it again. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it was the first fashion show for Kith in like 6 years.
Yeah, since before the pandemic in 2019.
So long overdue. The ambiance, the vibe looked crazy right there outside of the the flagship joint in New York, which is now just the men's store. The whole thing looked wild. New York on a nice Sunday. The music, the clothes, to me it looked wild. You just wish I was there. But from somebody that was actually there, to tell us about what everybody else missed out on.
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is how long they put into it. I mean, they were going like 12, 14-hour days for like 2-3 weeks. G was, there kind of helping. Obviously, he was curating all the music. So the whole score, I think it was like a 16-minute long track that went through a bunch of original music. There's like some 80s vibes in there. There's some hip hop vibes, some more of like, not like, just like kind of music as they start walking out. There's like, he has some vocals in the background. I think one of Ronnie's friends' wives' vocals are on the beginning one too. So we're going to release that as a 16-minute long standalone because, the models and stuff are hitting G up and like, hey man, I don't want to post this until I get that music. Where's that music? I got to get that music. And it's crazy because I have a bunch of different iterations of it as they were sending it. And then, the Kith folks were like, it's not long enough. Make it longer, not make it shorter, because it literally starts like right when the first person walks, right before the first model walks out, which there was like, I think there was like 50 some of them, maybe high 40s to high 50s. There was a lot of people in there, right? And they did like 3 or 4 walkthroughs. They did their makeup. I mean, but anyway, so the music, it was crazy, and people like bobbing their heads and stuff. So I'm sitting on the side. I actually gave my seats away to a couple of G's family members, which of course they should be theirs anyways. So I had a side view, so I saw where they come out, and then they walk straight towards the middle, like the middle of the field where the Kith logo was. And I mean, people are bobbing their heads. So I'm just watching, like trying to see how everyone reacts in the front row. You got Joe LaPuma in the front row. You got Tiafoe. You got Michael Strahan. Malik Neighbors is actually in the show with Jordan Clarkson and Victor Cruz, who Victor Cruz is like the nicest guy on the planet. I met him a few times now. Always the nicest guy. Fab was there, Pecos was there, Mello, Joey Badass, Westside Gunn. I mean, and that's just to name a few, right? Obviously, I didn't get to see everyone. I could only see one side and like to the middle because I noticed that Heidi Klum posted, Gashi and
Oh
Jimmy
shit.
performing, right? And I was like,
Uh-huh.
I did not see Heidi Klum at all. So I couldn't see the other side from where I was. So there was, probably tons of other people over there. So it's crazy to see that, and obviously the fits were dope, which I'll get into in a minute. But like going back to the beginning, the day before when I got there, G had to go for his fitting. So we go to with there, I think there's a store in Brooklyn now, and above it they have a Kith office, and it might be the whole building. So we go to this one floor, and I mean every single item and every single size that's in this catalog or in this fall release is in there on racks, right? They got bags on the ground, like shoes everywhere. I mean, every New York Yankees color of every Kith hat you've ever seen. It's colors that they're probably not even going to release. They had, all of the Clark Adidas Kith collab shoes, which, some of those are getting released. A lot of the models were wearing them, but, there were some other colorways with like certain logos and Ronnie's name on it and stuff that I think, I would assume those aren't getting released. Maybe they are. I have no idea. But I mean, it was just crazy to see the production of all the stylists and makeup artists and, all the, like they had these boards everywhere with everyone's fit, from top to bottom and their sizes and stuff. It was, and they did that for weeks. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even imagine how draining that was. And obviously that's probably any fashion show. But, Kith has come so far, even since their last one. They're so big. I think they have over 20 locations. I heard someone say that they have over 600 employees,
That's
right?
crazy.
So
That's
they're
a lot.
huge.
Yeah.
They're doing so many collabs and there's so much going on there that it's a ton. It's a big deal. I mean, the people that worked in the store were helping with security. They had security. They had, lines everywhere. They had all these music production folks who were like setting up the speakers and doing all that. And like the crazy part is, not long before the show, it was sunny outside, started pouring like monsoon rain, you know, they ended up building tents above where the DJ kind of person was, right, where they had the music and the mics and stuff. I think it might have messed up the speakers a little bit, but they still sounded good. And I think I didn't know this till after, but they were like this close to canceling it because it was pouring. So like everyone's running around like refreshing, the weather like radar and like, yo, like is this thing going to end or what's going to happen here? And once they realized that it was going to clear, they put it back on. So but I mean, there was people out there like wiping down the seats constantly because it was still like drizzling a little, and they had Kith umbrellas everywhere, like under all the seats. So they had that prepared, which was nice. I mean, it was a really well designed event. I mean, obviously you're in the middle of SoHo. I don't know how the hell, he pulled off getting a whole city block shut down. And then there was like part of a block on each side shut down, right? And it was shut down the whole day. Like we walked by there at like 8 a.m. and it was already shut down.
I was gonna
So
say, man, you got to be. I mean, nobody except for Ronnie could probably get that done, right?
yeah,
So,
crazy.
especially if anybody knows where Kith is out there in SoHo, I mean, that's a busy area. So to be able to shut, a couple streets down all day is unheard of.
Yeah, it was that was interesting. I mean, just seeing the models, like hearing some of their instructions, like you can't look at anyone in the crowd, you can't smile, like you have to keep your face forward, you have to like hard turns, walk where you're going, stand in your spot, and they all had like swag to them, right? Different struts and things like that. It was dope, man.
Blue
I mean,
Steel, man, people think that they can, put together fashion or do a show. I mean, so much goes into it, man, from obviously putting the fits together to the models to the whole vibe, of the show. Music's so important, like as you mentioned, right? So um fashion isn't easy, man. I know everybody thinks they can do it, but just seeing the production from what you told me, it just sounds like, an insane amount of work. People probably think they put that together in a day or two, but that's like, months of planning, of working and it coming together. So, and thank God the weather cleared up and your boys got to perform.
yeah, I mean, so not only that, they were in this. Well, G was in the studio with Dom, making the score track, right? Like the 16-minute long, instrumental essentially, right? For the
Is
for the
that
show. And
as is that as long as was the show only 16 minutes in total with
well,
you
sort
know
of, because it was
uh,
16 minutes for them to like walk all the way through and then go
mhm.
back and then all come out again together. So like all of
Think
that
about
work.
that. Think about all that work for 16 minutes, right? For
Yeah, we
that's It's wild.
We were likening it to like Thanksgiving, where your mom cooks for like 4 days straight and you eat in like 15 minutes. It's
It's
like that,
great.
except for it's longer.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right.
So that was crazy. I mean, just and from what I know, I mean, obviously I don't know a lot, but I'm pretty sure Ronnie picked like every fit in there, from what I understand. Like he's not just the guy that comes up with it, and he's like not like he's super involved. Was a super nice guy, but obviously like busy as busy is busier than you could imagine. His wife was super sweet, super nice. They obviously put in a lot of work together to get this thing where it is, and so what I was just thinking was, we have Be Somebody on the album, right? Which is a song where Gashi, has talks about born broke, I'm ain't gonna die broke, that's some shit I'm gonna change, right? That's like the theme of it, which Ronnie loves that song because obviously Ronnie, built it all by himself. So the Caskey verse got replaced with a verse by Jimmy, who's on a lot of the album, and Jimmy just bodies it. But the way they wrote it was to be through like the eyes of Ronnie. So when I first started listening to it, I was like, because he's like, my wife's a queen, and I can see my daughter's face up in the jeans, and I'm like, well, you know what I mean? But I didn't know that
Yeah.
it was like they were rapping through Ronnie's perspective. And then he's like, I built it brick by brick, which is like what I was just thinking when I was mentioning how hard they had to work, and obviously building our business, man. Like I remember in the beginning, I can't even imagine like him working these 12, 14-hour days, 7 days a week, probably in the first store. Is this ever going to work kind of thing, Obviously, we can talk about trophy hunting, and you could talk about the old the back days of that when it was at the
Tradition.
Beverly Center, it was JG's
Yeah.
tradition, you know what I mean? So I mean, it's probably similar, right? But Ronnie, man, he's like, I mean, he's going like big places. Like this isn't like, oh, let me get to 21 stores. This isn't like, you know, um, something that'll either fizzle out or start to go to malls and things like that. He's never. I can't imagine he would ever do that. Like all the stuff, and it's always kind of said this, but it felt more prominent in this drop. It just says New York to the world, and
Hmm.
I don't know any of this. This is just from a little bit that I saw. What I would extrapolate out of it from a business standpoint is they're actually going to take it to the world, and they have these crazy ambassadors, man. I mean, you got Carmelo Anthony on a Sunday evening in Soho, front row and center. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger. I mean, who's a bigger
Yeah.
Nick? Patrick Ewing. I mean, it's not getting any bigger. Obviously, JB could have been in there. I don't know if he was out of town or what, but I mean, Francis Tiafoe, one of the best American tennis players in the world, right? You got Vic, who's a Super Bowl winner, in the show. You got Jim Jones in the show. You got Jordan Clarkson in the show, who just came from Utah. He's got to be thrilled,
You
right?
gotta be so happy. Yeah. Yeah. There's not a Kith in Utah. I could be wrong, but I don't think there's any. I could be wrong. I'm sure there's some stores in
No,
Utah, but
there's no
with
Kith
the
in
way
Utah.
Clarkson and his, how much is he's into fashion. Obviously, him being in New York is probably a dream come true for that guy. So I
Yeah,
know he's
I
hyped to
mean,
be there.
we went there early, and they get makeup put on, which doesn't make, well, I don't know. I think they touch it up, but like obviously it's so hot. It was like the hottest day of the year there, and it was humid. Everyone's dying outside, and there's nowhere to go. Like there's no inside places. Like we were on the third floor, right, of the Kith store, just sitting there for like 2 hours, like waiting for this thing because it's so hot outside. Right, we try to go. You go to the coffee store, and Jordan Clarkson's. Yeah, it was Jordan Clarkson sitting outside with some other dude that has like a Kith hoodie on. Jordan Clarkson's got like long sleeves on. I mean, dude, it's 95 degrees. The
Crazy.
humidity is 90%. And someone was like, they just got these Knicks players sitting over here just like they're regular people. And I was just like,
It's
man,
wild.
yeah,
It's
it was hot.
wild.
So you got all those people in the show, right? You got Malik Neighbors in the show, right?
Beast.
Obviously one of the best receivers, up and coming receivers in the league. These are all people that are in the show. I don't know what they get paid or what they get or not. Maybe they just like fashion, but either way, you got all the right people in the show. And then in the stands, like we talked about, you got the rappers, you got Fab, Joey Badass, some pretty prominent rappers. Obviously, the Griselda guys were there. Strahan's in the front next to Carmelo. So it's like, I mean, it doesn't in Pecos. It doesn't really get any better if you got New Yorkers with like in the culture, right? And they're there and they're supporting and they're all rocking it. I think Pecos had on the Scarface collab shirt. You know what I mean? Mello
Yeah, I
had
saw that so
Mello had a
far.
Kith Yankees hat on, I think.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah, they've done a good job, and especially with Ronnie over the years doing, collabs, especially with the New York sports teams. I saw, the Knicks last year. There's a dope. campaign where they had Cat, Mikal Bridges, I believe it was Josh Hart, JB, and just fire, leathers, the leather jackets, the Averix style jackets are obviously coming back, but just as a whole, the collabs that Kith has done over the last couple of years have been great. And fashion, like we said, we were talking about earlier, fashion and sports and music, they're also synonymous, man, and go together. That's only right to have, some of the biggest athletes and biggest stars, especially in hip hop, be there during that fashion show. So that was dope to see.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys can check out, I think on their website, you can see their blog. Obviously, it'll show, which by the way, we didn't talk about this yet. And the best part of the show, I think for everyone, was after everyone walked out. So Gashi and Jimmy were in these Adidas suits. So they look like suits. They're black on black with the Adidas 3 stripes down the jacket and the pants with the Kith's black Samba collab, right? So they got a full black suit on. It's all Adidas, like stretch Lycra stuff. You can't really tell that it's Adidas unless you're looking at it close. They come out and they start performing, right? All the models are there. So they're like in the middle and the models are coming out and they're performing, and they performed. The first song they did was Be Somebody, the Kith version, right? So that was dope. I mean, they came out like, I don't know, because it wasn't announced anywhere that he was going to perform or that they were performing or that they were even doing 2 songs. So they do Be Somebody, which was fire, because like people like don't, obviously the song's relatively new. I think it's maybe the 5th most streamed song or 4th most streamed song on the album, the 4th most streamed song. So it's pretty popular. But people don't know what's coming. And obviously they've never heard Jimmy's verse, which is fire. I played it for you, I think last week over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But so they performed that, and people are like bobbing their heads, and they don't obviously know, what's going on. And then after that, they do Halos and Dracos. And I mean, it was kind of ominous how it happened, because it was like super dark when it was raining, and then it got bright. And then like when they came to perform, like the clouds kind of covered over. So like the lighting changed. And obviously like Halos and Dracos, I mean, people are dying, right? So they do Halos and Dracos, and I don't think anyone heard it, but like in the middle of the song, they stop and they go, you get a halo, you get a halo, you get a halo. And everyone's doing, you get a halo, you get a halo, you get a halo. So that was fire. And then obviously like at the end, it goes, you're dead to me, right? Like it does that. And then people are like, oh, like a couple people came up to him after the show and were like, we didn't know what you meant. And then they were like, you're dead to me. And then it was like, oh shit. Like he was saying, you get a halo, like you're dead.
Right. You're dead. Right.
So it was dope. So people were feeling that. So that was cool. I mean, they were in the studio for a minute, like send Ronnie the draft, back and forth. And he loved it. He actually said multiple different times that Halos and Draco should be the song of the summer, but it's the headline song for the fall collab. You can see that they made a separate video just for Kith on the website. And I think they're going to use that in some marketing. We'll probably use some of it.
Check that out. That song is dope. Yeah. Song of the fall then, bro.
Yeah, it might be now.
Whatever.
Yeah, we still got a little summer left,
A little bit.
Yeah, and then we'll drop the Be Somebody with Jimmy on there. That should hopefully we just got the master back. G's gonna listen to it. It sounded good to me though, so it'll hopefully come out within the next week or two. It's a banger. I mean, Jimmy bodies that, you know what I mean? So they killed that. So I don't know how we didn't talk about that, but that was the point, right? It initially started, I think, with them just, him just scoring it, right? He wanted his influence in that. He loves, like, obviously they have a similar style. But then it turned into this performance, and then, because the album came out and he was like, dude, I love you guys together. And obviously, they're both great in their own respect, and Gashi obviously has like billions of streams and, Grammy noms and all that stuff. But like, this is the first time he's really rapped, right? So, and it's not his favorite. I mean, he's great at it. Like, he likes other stuff too. Like, I think we're going to do Killer Whales of Gotham too. Jimmy's going to do Blank Check,
sir.
Which will be Jimmy's solo album called Blank Check. And then, we got the dance album in the works. I think he's got like 2 or 3 songs done already. So you got all kinds of stuff coming, man. So
really, man, I love that, during the performance, that the heavens, closed and then, opened up. It's funny. I have a story. I was at a Jay-Z concert. My boy Sam will remember this. And clear. We're at the Rose Bowl. Clear as day, beautiful night. Jay-Z comes on, he's killing it. Then he does Song Cry. And as soon as he does Song Cry,
banger.
it's like the clouds just is wild, bro. You know what I mean? Jay-Z's like a god. As soon as the song cried, the clouds come and it just starts raining, bro. It was wild. You know what I mean? And then after the song was over, it cleared up again. So, that's that just reminds me of
Yeah.
that story. It was the craziest thing. We're like, well, just for that song, man, the clouds came and they left. And Jay-Z's got control of the weather too. He's a
What that
doorman.
tells you
So
is Jay-Z controls everything. We
yeah,
said
that's what
that
I'm
last
saying. He's a
time.
doorman. He did.
The doorman can turn the
The
weather on.
weather too. That's
I
right.
mean, shit, if anyone
That's
can,
right.
it might as well be him, you know?
Hell yeah. Hell
That's
yeah. But
fire. Well, I was
yeah,
like,
that
right before, I was like, Jimmy was like, dude, I'm performing no matter what. And I was like, yeah. I didn't know they were thinking about canceling the show, but how dope would it have been if somehow we got like a great video of them doing those songs in like a monsoon?
mhm,
Like, you know what I mean?
it's
But
a
obviously, dude,
moment.
they were on turf. So, like, remember, most of the female models had heels on.
He
Like,
was
so they
on.
were wearing like dope ass fits. Like, there's some fits on there that are crazy. Like this, there's one of my favorite shirts is like, it's almost like it looks like almost like a hockey jersey. And it has 56 on the front, Giants colors on the back. It says, it's obviously Lawrence Taylor. And the 56, she had those on. And then she had shorts on that barely went past it because it was oversized. Hair, makeup was fire. And then she had heels on, right? Like dope fits. Like they styled it like better style than like you would see. Like I've seen, you obviously see clips of like Louis or Gucci and any of that. And it's like so over the top. These fits were like, they had as fashion forward fits, but they were fire. And also the turf, as you know, wet turf is dangerous,
Yeah,
right?
it's
So
not
they're
it.
like walking on there. I'm watching the heels like turn as they go, and it's like,
They need
already like
cleats.
not stable, dude. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, dude, you need some cleats because they had those sambas on, and like you can't. Those are like soccer shoes. You can't. You know what I mean?
You make a good point, man. Like a lot of time when you see these shows, whether it's Louis or Givenchy, and like half the shit these people are wearing, like you can't even wear in public. Like they're wearing the most like outlandish stuff. It almost is stuff that they're not even gonna sell. Just
Yeah.
these wild fits. So that's why I can appreciate a fashion show where they're actually wearing clothes and outfits that people can put together. And I know it's whatever, it's high fashion and the others, but I like a fashion show where I'm actually looking at outfits that I want to buy that I can actually buy and go on the website and pick up. So shout
I
out to
mean,
Kith for that.
yeah, they had some crazy fits, and maybe not like the fashion part of it is like you might not wear the pieces together how they had them, but you would wear the pieces separate, maybe,
Right.
right? And a lot
Yeah.
of them you would wear, right?
Right.
They would, you know, I they had like so that was one of my favorite ones they had was the Lawrence Taylor joint. They had this like varsity bomber jacket, leather. I think it was an Averix. I mean, they had a bunch of Averix jackets,
It's
bunch
my
of
shit.
fire Yankee
Love
Averix
that.
jackets. Some of them like Yankees across, some of them gray, some of them black. They had like so many different colorways. I mean, they bodied that. Like when it releases on Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. And my guess is since it's their one with their first show and all the pub they got, I mean, dude, Complex, all these things posted it. WWD, which is like 2 million followers. All these things like it's already hard to get this shit anyways,
It'll be gone.
right?
Yeah.
So this week's gonna be tough for you guys, myself included. I'm gonna try to like see if they can set some stuff aside. Obviously, you got to pay for it. I'm gonna work on that. But they they had this Patrick Ewing one that it just says 33 on the front. Yeah, 33 on the front. Mixed colors on the back. It says Ewing 33. So hard. Averix jacket. Um,
The
they had a.
problem is like me being in Southern California and you being in Arizona. I like cold weather fits, like the leather jackets, and we can't like
Mm,
hardly wear that
can't
shit,
wear
man.
that.
But
Yeah, in
whatever.
Arizona in the
Eh,
winter for a couple months, maybe. But
Yeah,
dude, my cold weather game's fire, and I probably have like 20 jackets or 30. I don't
I
even know,
know.
and I
I have
can't
way
wear
too
them.
many too. I know.
Yeah, for what? I don't know why I even buy them. Like I stopped buying them last year. I didn't buy a jacket last year. I don't think because it's like you can't even wear them. But I love when I
Buy
go
'em
to
just like go to New York. Yeah, go to New
when you
York.
go
I
to the
buy them just like go to
Northeast.
New York.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
so
yeah.
bunch of jackets. They had this one. You could look at it. It's like brown and cream. Brown on the top, brown at the bottom, cream in the middle, Kith and brown, and it's like a almost like wool looking oversized Kith sweater. It's crazy, and it
And
has cream stripes right here where it goes through the middle. There's a girl that had that on with shorts in the show. If you go to their website, there's an email that went out that had a little bit of it on their site. They have like a picture of every model, so you can essentially see the entire collab. What else is fire if you can get your hands on it? They already released it though. They're calling it like the suede monogram or something like that. They did a bunch of releases with bags where it's like checkered, like kind of like how Louis has checkered, but it's not like that because it says Kith and it's plain, and that's Kith and it's plain. most of that's sold out already. But if you can find that, they're fire. You can see those on the website.
Yeah, those are dope.
They're so dope. Like, again, what's crazy, a crazy invention that all the models loved and all the people there, it's a Clark top with an Adidas Boost bottom.
I
And
saw those.
it's like a Kith collab, right?
With
And
Adidas
with
and
Adidas,
Clark.
with Clarks. But also, there was some, and I don't know if they're going to sell them, but some of them had like an NY on them, in the front. So I don't know if they're going to sell those or not. Some people were wearing them. They were dope. They came in like all these colors. Like and then they did a different one where it didn't have any of the writing on it. It didn't say Ronnie or anything or Kith or anything on it. And it had different like darker colorways and stuff. I don't know which one of these things are going to be in the collab or not, because there were so many of them. And I know they said some of them wouldn't, but like those are dope. If you can get your hands on those on Friday, let me give those.
Like the Clarks Wallabees with the Ultra Boost bottom.
Everyone said they were way more comfortable. Like this one dude.
Oh, the Ultra Boost are some of the most comfortable shoes I've ever. I don't know if you ever had a pair, but the Ultra Boost.
The old Yeezys, man, they're crazy. The Boost technology,
so comfortable. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And people don't really wear Adidas like that. I mean, they're wearing it more than they used to, But there's one of Ronnie's guys came out to dinner with us afterwards, and I was like, "What is it like wearing those?" And he goes, "Well, I have Clarks and I have Adidas." And I was like you're just wearing them. You're not paying attention to them, and you're just like thinking. And you're like, it's weird because they're more comfortable than Clarks, but they're not almost as Adidas. But like, it's dope. Like he's like, I can't even tell you what it compares to. He's like, 'cause I've been wearing them for like 2 weeks already,
Yeah, those are different.
So yeah, I didn't get to try them on or anything, but it's crazy, And they also actually did. G had a couple pairs of them. They had a bunch of different Adidas like running shoes and like cross trainer looking shoes that were Kith collabs that are coming out too. I don't think the models really wore them, but I saw them in the store in the back. See if there's anything else I wanted to cover. Super funny. So I know Gashi's a big Westside Gunn fan. I know you're a big Griselda fan. I mean, Graybill, like, he thinks that he should be in the group, right? So,
my guy, though.
Love Griselda. So like we go up, like I'm just listening to them talk to Westside, and like Jimmy's on the phone, and G's like, "Yo, get off the phone. Westside just made an album, like right now." You know what I mean? And he's like, "Nah, bro, I made one yesterday." Right? Which he probably did. You know what I mean? I don't know. He was funny. He was joking around, so I don't know. But it was cool, like chopping it up with him a little bit, because he gives out the Ocean 44 and Steak 44 bars, Scottsdale and stuff. And I was like, "Yo, why are you trying to go eat lunch at Ocean 44?" He goes, "They're not even open, bro." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying to you." You said
what he's telling you is that he can get him to open, the restaurant.
He probably can. Yeah. He said he loves Arizona. He goes, "I love Scottsdale."
That's funny. Well, I remember when he said that bar, I had to send it to you. And you're like, "Man, they're not even open at lunchtime." But
like,
Westside Gunn, he does work quick. Man, I don't know if I'm a big Westside Gunn fan. Love Griselda, from Conway to Stove God to Rome Streets, all those guys. Benny, obviously. But
I love Benny.
I don't think anybody has put out the amount of albums and projects that Westside Gunn has in the last couple of years. The guy just keeps working. So it's wild. So he probably did make an album in a day, bro.
Yeah.
The guy is dropping albums every other month. So yeah, big fan of his. It's dope you got to meet him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I hadn't listened to it a ton. Obviously, I listened to Benny the Butcher, and so on Sunday on the flight home, is a long flight, and then today, while I was like catching up on my emails and stuff, I had like all these different Westside Gunn albums playing, and it's just like I don't even know which one to pick because there's like 50 of them. You know what I mean?
It's just a lot. There's a ton.
So hopefully G and him will link for something. Obviously, like Jimmy kind of sort of like raps in the same kind of style they do. I think Jimmy would fit in well with them. Hopefully, I know obviously we're going to do, Jimmy's album. Maybe we get one of these guys to pop on. Also, Joey Badass, like I know G had like kind of knew him back in the day, and, they were going to, they talked, and I think maybe they'll link up because obviously like we have a couple songs that'll need, someone like Joey on there. Hopefully we can figure that out, man. Joey's a beast. That'd be
He
dope.
is. He's on a rampage. He's just like, Joey's trying to bring New York rap back. Trying to go at everybody. So shout out to Joey Badass, man. It's been needed. I'm from California. I've always been the biggest fan of New York rap ever since I was a kid, but it's been lacking recently. So it's good to have, those guys, the Killer Whales, and obviously Joey Badass on Westside Gunn bringing that sound back, because it's been gone for a minute.
Yeah, we like talked to Mello for a second, which is kind of like, I mean, look, obviously talking to Westside Gunn's a big deal, or Joey Badass. I'm not
But
diminishing act. Like
Melo,
Melo, man. I
Melo,
mean, Melo.
dude,
I wanted to tell him that I was
life.
in attendance. I was in attendance when Syracuse played Pitt. I think it was my junior year when the year obviously Melo's only year they won the national championship,
One.
but they lost that Pitt that year. So him and was it Johnny Flynn? You know what I mean? They
Jerry
were so good though.
McNamara.
Oh, Jerry
Jerry
McNamara, not Johnny
McNamara.
Flynn. It was Jerry
Yeah, Jerry
McNamara. Yeah,
McNamara. Yeah, that
it
boy
was
could play too,
McNamara.
man.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
Flynn
boy
was
was
after.
cold. He was. Yeah.
Flynn might have been. I don't know. He was either there the next year or whatever because he came out at the same time Steph did. But so we were talking, and like Melo was like, "Yo, that was dope," and Gashi was like, "Have you listened to the album?" He's like, "I haven't gotten a chance to hear it yet," and he starts like, "My son's a shooter like Carmelo, Porsche, the inside the exterior marshmallow, like that's a bar from the album." And he's like, "Oh, I'm on there," and he's like, "Dude, we got tons of bars with you on there. Like, check it out." You know what I mean? It was fun.
Yeah.
It was cool though. He dapped him up. He was cool. Cool. Like you could tell, like, because what happened is models go inside. Like there's really nowhere to go. There's not a bar. There's not like food. You know what I mean? Because you're outside. There's stands. So people like stand up and start chopping it up. And you can see like Tiafoe like bounced real quick. Like which I get. Like Joe LaPuma was gone. Who we actually had dinner next to him at Carbone. Like the first time I had dinner with Gashi. Second time I met him. So this is like almost 2 years ago. And like you know how it is, like in the back, like there are little two tops. I mean, you might as well be having a four top, right?
Right.
And it was him with his girl for her birthday, and we were just chopping it up. They had some mutual friends, and I was like, oh man, like I was actually asking him. Did I ever tell you the story?
I don't
Like
think so. I remember you telling me you met him. But I don't, I didn't know the details of the story, but I know
he
you
was
had met him
saying,
at Carbone that night.
yeah, I was like, who's your favorite person to come on there? I didn't want to go crazy, but I asked him, and he was like, well, 50 Cent's the best because 50's like, yo, you have these breads and then these breads. And he's like, well, but these are from like this year and these are from this year. And he goes, but that one's like 5 times the price. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, why wouldn't you just buy these? And he's dead serious. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, why would anyone do that? So he was cool, actually. I didn't obviously get to see him. He bounced. But a lot of people hung around, man. And like there were some fans that were like trying to get pictures with all the rappers and stuff. They were pretty cool for the most part. But I mean, hell of an event. I wish you could have came, doing some serious collabs. But I guess what I took, like obviously there were some cool things to see, like met some people, got some cool pictures, got to hear some conversations, obviously a lot that I'm not going to talk about on here and would never. But, what I got from this is I think Ronnie's young, man. I think I don't know exactly what his plan is because obviously he didn't say it. And if I heard it, I wouldn't say it on here, but I didn't. It's going somewhere. It's not, it's going all over. I mean, I think they're in like 4 or 5, 6 countries, something like that, which is apparently their Dallas pop-ups crushing. I was like trying to tell G to be like, hey, put one in Arizona because there's nothing like that. Like we have dope sneaker reseller stores like Ryan's, he's got his guest list brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
That this year, and he's got Authentics, and there's the types of brands like that. But this one, obviously we don't have like a huge national one. Like you can get Supreme, you can get some of these brands, but not from like a boutique there. It would smash. And like, I think he's going to be in places like my guess is he doesn't want it to be like corny where everyone wears it.
Sure.
But
yeah, that's the balance, right? So you got to think about that's the balance to where you want to keep it exclusive, but you want to grow the brand at the same time. And that balance, man, has to be like the most difficult part of fashion, right? You want to get it's whatever. You're human. You want the bag, but you don't want to, just open the floodgates, right? So where do you go? What do you release? It's crazy.
He could sell Kith to some, big clothier like that puts stuff in Macy's or Nordstrom's or whatever. And you could have Kith on every corner. You can make it cheaper, which he obviously doesn't do. His quality's fire. Like my guess is, and I don't know this, is as you expand it and as the demand grows, because still a lot of people don't know about it just because it's like, you know what I mean? It's not in a lot of places, but the people that are into it know it, right? If you know, you know. And like I've gotten everyone in Arizona and shit when we were at Taylor's birthday party in Mykonos, half the people were wearing Kith, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no Kith where any of those people live, right? Obviously there's one in LA, and
there's
that's
two
not
now.
anywhere.
There's one in Malibu and one in Beverly Hills. They got
I
two
heard
now.
Gashi keeps saying they're opening an Ame in LA, but when I looked it up, I didn't see it.
Oh, really? We'll tell Gash to let me know where that is, so I don't have to travel across the country to
just tell them to take your direct deposits right away, bro.
For sure. Yeah.
But
Between ALD, Kith, and Air One,
Yeah,
My ass. Yeah, I'm about to take out a loan to be able to afford, my habits.
100%. But like, so he's going to grow this thing, and my guess is the way business works is if as demand grows, the only way to keep it exclusive is raise the price.
Yep.
Um, and I
Yep.
mean, why not, right? Like I mean, there was so the store was open on Sunday before, like while they were setting the fashion show up. It's like 50 people in line, right? It's like noon on a Sunday. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
crazy.
like, it's like that all the time. So I think he's taking this thing big. I think like, you think legacy, he's creating one or
Hmm.
has one built essentially, right? And he's going to be thought of up there, like with whether it's Virgil or whoever, if he's not already. And maybe that sounds crazy, but I think it's coming. And I think he's creating a cultural impact. He's linking up music with sports, and fashion together. He has these ambassadors. Obviously, those aren't real terms, but these people that ride for the brand, ride for him, and you see it. And I think it's going to continue. And we met these guys, the two guys the main guy, and then his like, I don't know if it was his number two or not, but they run the Japanese operations. And they were like these Asian dudes. Like there was a little bit of, obviously, Japanese dudes. There was a little bit of a language barrier. They spoke some English, but they just had swag, bro. Like,
The
did you
fashion
see
in
it?
Japan is crazy, dog. That
It
they
is.
go crazy. Yeah, Japan is fire. They know what they're doing. Them boys can dress.
There was a picture I posted on my story that was from, I don't even know what post it was. Maybe it was a Gashi post, but it was me and these two guys, and you can't see Gashi because he's taking the picture. But the dude on the right is Uncle Junya, Junya. He's like the coolest dude ever. Everyone loves that guy.
You're
I
at a
don't know.
restaurant, right? When you're sitting down, you were
Yeah,
sitting down.
we were at
Yeah,
St. Ambrose, which is like wifey's favorite spot. Like definitely a dope coffee spot too. There's so many of them there though. St. Ambrose is fire. But yeah, we were sitting there, and like he runs the Japanese operations. Like he's just swags different there, but
it
he's just
is.
so cool. And he was like, "Yeah, come. We'll show you that. We know everyone. We'll show you." And then I guess G said like uh, Japan's like one of Ronnie's favorite places. Like he likes it
It's
more than
crazy.
London and
Yeah,
France, right?
I want to go.
Yeah, I want to go.
The
Um,
fashion there and what they got out there in Japan is insane.
it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
So I guess in summary, I think Ronnie's, he's a visionary. He's a hard worker. He's got, obviously grit and all the things that it took for him to get there. G was like, Ronnie's probably exhausted. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, he's probably not, because this is what he does. And this is why he's here.
yeah.
And this is why he's such a beast. And this is why all these people love him. And that's why he has all these fans. This is why he's growing. Obviously I had limited interaction with him, but got to see at a different level, like what he put together and like how much detail and thought went through it. And like, I mean, nothing but good things to say about the guy. I mean, just incredible. What a cool experience. But more than that, I took away from it that it's not just some brand that exists. Like, it's not just some thing you can go buy in a store. It's more than that. It's living, it's growing, and it's going to a different place, man, if I'm being honest. So it was cool to see. I mean, that was my big
That's
takeaway from the whole thing.
that's dope. It's more than fashion. It really is. Like for people like us and even them, and like it's all like it's cultural. It's a part of life, man. I've been into fashion for since I was young. It's more than just clothes, as you know. So, for me right now, Kith, ALD, trophy hunting, um, that's what I'm on. I'm not going to gatekeep because everybody should be able to to enjoy, the swag of Can't Teach Taste. That's why we're here. But, if you're all in New York, definitely check out Kith and ALD. Yeah, obviously Kith is other places, but it's different when you go to the New York spot. And then obviously, our boy Jason Gaines and trophy hunting, you can get that online. Yeah, man, it's life, it's culture, it's what we're about, man. So, make sure that I get a heads up and an invite to the next Kiss show. My ass will be there, rain or shine. And yeah, man, I'm just glad you got a chance to go.
Yeah, definitely a once in a lifetime experience. And for like Gashi and Jimmy, I mean, that's a, career headlining, thing, right? Like
For sure.
we talk about this a lot. Like there's a lot of people that can do a lot of things. Like a lot of artists can sing, a lot of them can rap, a lot of them can produce, but how many of them headline a Kith fashion show? It doesn't get much bigger than that.
It's wild. And again, as big as Kith is, and you talk about the artists that were there, whether it's Fab, Westside Gunn did, but who performed? It was, Gashi and Jimmy, which is insane. You got some of the biggest rappers of today, some of the biggest rappers ever when you're talking about Fab and some of these other people. And you know, those two guys were the ones that performed at the show. So that's fire, man. And they're, you know, they're the kind of the faces and a big part of the new campaign, which if y'all go to the website, you can see, like we said earlier. So I'm just glad those things are coming together, man. It's long overdue. And those guys, you know, deserve the recognition, man. Not enough people have been able to hear him or know about him. So hopefully this does that.
Yeah, right. I mean, without the label pushing, right? Like we talked about, I mean, you know, this is the kind of thing, and you can't pay for this. You can't do anything. Gashi's earned it through hard work, and obviously, you know, Ronnie being a fan, him being a fan of Ronnie, and then being like, you know, close. That's the only way, right? So, you know, these types of things, man. Hopefully, you know, for him and Jimmy, it just, you know, keeps pushing him up, you know, to the next level, because you know that was next level. That was a different level, and you know, there's nothing you can do. You can't pay for that. You can't. It just, you know, it's kind of like taste, right? I mean, shit, it's either
Yeah.
there or it's not. You know what I mean?
Can't teach it. You can't teach
Nah.
it. We've been trying to tell y'all can't
Yeah.
teach it, man. If you
Yeah.
haven't checked it out yet, Killer Whales of Gotham, man. If you want to hear some good hip hop, you know, make sure you go check that out on all DSPs,
Yeah.
man. I've been playing that for a while now. So that and obviously my Westside Gun rotation, and still God Cooks and the Clips is what I've been listening to recently, man, until that Iceman drops. So
Yeah.
uh,
Me too.
yeah, patiently
Pretty
waiting.
much the
Hell
same.
yeah,
What I would
hell
say
yeah.
is you know, I guess that's it for today. I mean, we spent the whole thing on essentially Kith, but I mean, it was a once in a lifetime experience. There's not going to be many times where either of us are going to come back and be able to share with folks just like even a little bit. Obviously, there's some other things and stuff that I saw in her that I would, you know, I wouldn't share. I was definitely very careful about that because you know it's not appropriate or whatever, but it's not cool. But I mean, even just hopefully, I gave the folks some, you know, decent pearls and cool stuff to hear, because it was definitely wild. Like, you know, my eyes were probably like that big the whole time, you know, because it's never been in a situation like that. So, you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed. You know, go check out that fall drop this Friday, 11 a.m., 8 Eastern, 8 Pacific. I know I'm going to be on there getting nothing, but hopefully we can get something. You know what I mean?
Hopefully. Yeah, I need some bots to help me get some, you know, some of those exclusive drops in the large. But yeah, make sure you hop
Yeah.
on. It's one of those things, man. If you wait, you know, even 10 minutes,
Yeah,
the
and you try to hop
the
on at
pieces
eight
you want.
8:30. There's, I mean, you might get like an extra small and like some kids T-shirt, and that's it.
Yeah, not
You know
gonna
what I
work,
mean?
man. So
Nah.
set that alarm. Your asses should be up anyway. Expect it
Yeah, if
doesn't
you're not
matter.
up, get
Eight
your ass
o'clock.
up.
Yeah, get your ass up 8 o'clock on the West Coast and 11 o'clock on the East. Y'all should be up getting to it already. So just make sure you set an
Yeah.
alarm as a reminder because you're up already to hop on Kith and get that new fall collection so you can be the flyest person at your job, at your school, you know, whatever it might
Yeah.
be.
and
You
and
fly like
nobody
us.
and nobody knows what it is until they ask you about it, and then they're like, how did you pronounce, what is that, okay, and then next thing you know,
Yep.
you see them again next time, and they got something on, which is what always happens. So,
Yeah. Put them
you know,
on. Put people on. Put your
you
friends on.
have to.
You know, I know you want to gatekeep, but put your friends on, good friends, put their other friends on. So make sure you do that, man. They'll thank you.
All right, man. Well, shit, good conversation. Can't
Hell
teach
yeah.
taste. We out. Peace.
Peace.